Hi, and welcome back to this new season, season 10. I can hardly believe we're in double digits for the season. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to be bringing you this episode, and I really appreciate you being here listening. So, I want to, in this season, make sure that we're keeping a focus on our future self. And why is that important? Because whatever we do in the here and now is either going to be of benefit to our future self, or our future self is going to pay the cost of what it is that we're doing. So if we're doing some things that aren't helpful for our health, our mental health and well-being, our businesses, it's our future self that's going to pay the cost. On the other hand of that is if we're doing things now that are helpful, then our future self is going to get the benefit. So I'll let you into a little secret. I actually am recording this in 2025 before I finish up for the year, so that my future self doesn't need to worry about getting episodes ready for the middle of January. This is a way that I take care of future Hayley by planning ahead and getting things like social content in the bank, podcast episodes in the bank, perhaps some things I need to do around the house organized so they don't need to be done later. And I know for sure as I'm recording this that present Hayley on the day that you're listening is really, really grateful that I'm doing this now. So have a think about what are some of the things that perhaps you could be doing for your future self. What are some things within your home life or your work life that you could put into place now that would benefit you in the future? And that doesn't matter if it's tomorrow, next week, in a month, in 6 months, in a year, whatever time frame, there's things you could perhaps be doing now that will be helpful for your future self. You might also like to think about what are some of the things that you're doing that if you were to meet your future self and tell them that you were doing that, they might look at you and say something like, "Oh, I really wish you wouldn't do that, because that's going to cause problems for me down the track." So have a think about what some of those might be. I regularly check in with my future self, and if you've listened to any of the other episodes, any of my guest episodes, you'll know that it's a question that I love to ask them as well. If you could meet your 80-year-old self today, what do you think they would say to you? So we could start this year with that. If you were to meet your 80-year-old self today, what do you think they would say to you? There might be things that they are in awe of what you've done. There may be some things that they feel really proud of you for. There may be some things that they would be surprised by. There may be some things that they perhaps aren't too keen on and would prefer you hadn't done. This isn't an opportunity for your self-critic to jump in and start giving you a hard time. It's just an opportunity to reflect and have a think about that. And really focus in on those things that perhaps you don't pay that much attention to, which is all the things that you have managed to do, all the things you have overcome, the challenges you've dealt with, the hardships that you've got through, because so often we don't stop to think about that. And I think one of the helpful things about doing that is when we can see that we have navigated these things and we've got through these things before, when we face difficult things again, we've got some history that tells us that we can manage, that we're going to be okay. So have a think about what some of the things would be that your 80-year-old self would want to say to you. I'm excited to say that in 3 weeks, the book will be available to be in your hands. It's available for pre-orders now, and thank you again to everybody that's pre-ordered. I'm aware of people pre-ordering through me, but not so much of what's going on online at the moment. Although by the time this episode airs, I might have a little bit more information about that. But I want to thank each and every one of you for pre-ordering the book, sharing about the book, being excited about the book coming out. It's been a really beautiful process. So 3 more weeks and you can actually order a copy and it can be in your hands. So that's really exciting. And I'm also going to be holding some book events in different venues around the country. So as I'm recording this, these are still in the planning. I'll certainly be sharing details about that, and I'll put in the show notes as well where there is information, further information about the events if you would like to attend. So this season is going to be, again, solo episodes and some guests. I have already recorded the episode with my first guest, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be really helpful in terms of you, your authentic voice, how you can prepare for the things that you want to do. So that'll be coming next week. So I encourage you to tune into that. And there'll be other great guests along the way. We've had some fantastic guests in the seasons that we've already had, and there's some more fantastic guests coming. And then we'll also be doing these short bite-sized episodes as well. So please do reach out and let me know if there's anything you'd particularly like to hear about. But at the moment, this season is going to be focusing on how do we take care of future you, whilst, of course, taking care of present you in the moment, but being really mindful and intentional about some of the things we want to do to take care of ourselves now and also future self. And again, having that compassionate mindset that we're not always going to get things right. We're not always going to behave in the ways we'd ideally like to. We're not always going to get done the things we might want to get done. And that's okay, because we're human first. Nobody's perfect, and that isn't what we want to be striving for. But we can be intentional, and we can bring compassion along for the journey. And we can start to really create and design the life that we want. So I invite you to take a moment now to think about the holiday period that we've just had, the end of year transition to the new year, and think about what were some of the things that went well for you? What were some of the things that didn't go so well for you? And whilst we don't have a time machine and we can't go back, let's imagine for a moment we could. If you could go back in time and do some of those things differently, what would they be? Can you think of specific circumstances that you were in where things didn't go as well as you'd liked, or you made choices that you'd rather you didn't? What were they, and how would you rather it was? Because whilst we can't change the past, we can learn from it. And we can then reflect and look at, okay, what is it that I want to do differently moving forward? Or if it was things that went really well, what are the things I want to carry into the new year with me? So I invite you to take some time. You might want to pause and perhaps make some notes and just have a real think about what were some of the things that happened. Were they helpful for you? Were they not so helpful? Do you wish you could have a do-over? How would you like things to be moving forward? I'm really excited to bring this season to you. I'm really excited that the book's going to be available for you. Those of you that have pre-ordered from me, the books will be coming out very soon. And if you've ordered online, I don't have control over that, but I would assume that they'll be coming to you soon too. And if you haven't already ordered, then I would encourage you to do so, whether that's for yourself or for a loved one. And yeah, the book From Self-Neglect to Self-Compassion, a compassionate guide to creating a thriving life. It's been written from my heart, and I really know it's going to be a helpful book for people. I hope you found this short episode helpful. I hope that 2026 has started well for you. And let's create together some ways that we can move forward in a way that allows us to thrive in our life and our businesses. In the meantime, go well and go gently with yourselves. See you next week. Bye.